Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to another video. In this video I'm gonna show my game from round 2 from the Graz Open in 2023. I was playing with the white pieces and my opponent was a very young 11-year-old Ukrainian player who already has a rating above 2000 and who will certainly go up in the rating ladder. So I will start with the game, which started with the French defense. We played some classical line and followed mainstream theory, but here he took with the queen, which is not a main line. Usually they take with the knight and then put the bishop to d6. Taking with the queen kind of leaves this knight misplaced. It's however kind of active, but white should keep the advantage here. I continued with natural stuff like knight f3. It was a bit more accurate to start with castling, not allowing bishop b4 check. But in the game I thought it would not be a problem to allow this because this trade is favorable for me. However, computer doesn't agree. Okay, bishop d6, bishop g5, queen needs to retreat, castles. Now I expected him to castle, after which I would have proceeded this way. On the one hand, just trying to trade this bishop. On the other hand, also threatening bishop h7 followed by knight g5 fork. So he would need to play h6. That was my thought, and white is a bit better here because this French bishop is kind of closed in. And yeah, I have the better pieces. He has some weaknesses and it's quite comfortable. However, he decided to play h6 first. And now I didn't really see my strongest option, which was, if you want to look for it yourself, please pause the video. I will just continue with the solution, which is queen to b1. It's quite amazing. White is already winning here due to this bishop g6 threat. He cannot take, of course, because bishop g6 and white is winning the queen. And also after castles, bishop h7, not bishop h7, but bishop g6 immediately. The black queen is just lost. So the best try would be something like knight e7, but then he also needed to misplace this knight, and this line might seem a bit computerish, but actually, yeah, white is having a great position after something like this. All the pieces are playing. The whole king side is paralyzed, and black is really stuck with a lot of pieces. So yeah, white has a huge advantage here. But I did not really consider this queen b1. I just considered queen c2, which I dislike because of knight b4, of course. So I played quite quickly bishop to h4, which is also much better for white, but not as good as in the game. And not as good as queen b1, of course. So now he castled, played bishop g3, expecting him to take, but he played e5. Now it was my second chance to get a close to winning position here, but I missed it again. I considered some options like bishop b5, because this pawn is actually pinned and now I threaten to take and then take e5, but I disliked it because of e4. And if takes, of course not takes on c6, first take here, of course, takes. It was not that clear to me because I cannot really take the rook because my knight is hanging. Computer claims some advantage after knight f4, but it's already getting too messy for my taste. However, it was quite easy to improve on this idea, playing knight c3, because in the same line, after bishop d6 takes, now there is no knight on e2 which is hanging, and white is just winning after bishop f8. Because taking on g2 it's just nothing. For example, here white is quite a sound exchange up, and yeah, no hope for black. However, yeah, I did not play this one, and I also kind of liked the structure after just trading it off. Here my best move was something like bishop c2, which I didn't play. Yeah, I played knight to d4, which was not the best, but Still, I felt quite comfortable here. Now my opponent played something which I, from a practical point of view, would consider, yeah, quite a mistake, because it leads to something good knight versus bad bishop. This knight can stay on this dark square forever. This bishop can never challenge the knight. The bishop will just stay passive behind this ugly pawn. And if you have watched my previous videos, my first video on YouTube is basically about the same structure. It also came from a French defense, and it was basically almost the same yeah, middle game or end game, and you can check it out if you want. Also there I already enjoyed this position quite a lot, and also here I was very happy. However, yeah, he could have played better here, just keeping more tension, yeah, maybe just developing, yeah, but not trading here. This is really not what black should do here. Okay, but we won't go into details. We'll have a look at how to play this knight versus bishop again, because it's very useful to know and very instructive, because you can really get this a lot of times. As you see, I got this already in another game, and it's basically very similar. So I started with f3, kind of restricting all counterplay, getting ready to activate my rook. This was all fine. Took rook d1. Black can never really release all the pressure, because even such endgames after the queen trade are a bit troublesome because of the d5 pawn. So I was just sidestepping with the queen. If he ever moves the rook, I might be ready for rook e1. Also, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a waiting move. Also, maybe I will threaten to go active with the queen at some point, which was not possible from the d3 square. He played queen e5. I played b3 just in case, because bishop a4 is sometimes a bit annoying. He played h5, which is already kind of weakening, but it was hard to suggest anything constructive for black. Now I played knight c2, hitting this pawn. Maybe not really threatening to take immediately, because there might be some counterplay with the rook in the end. But he counterattacked anyway, so now I cannot take, of course, because after takes, maybe, oh no, not bishop e6, because then the rook could return. Maybe he can just take, and after takes, this is quite drawish. Yeah, so I should keep the tension. I played knight to c3 and he protected. Again, we see this bishop is very passive. I can hit this pawn, and yeah, white is just a lot better. Okay, I played queen d4, which is a mistake. Instead, you could wonder, couldn't I take this pawn? But probably it's not so clear here. Takes, check, and this. I was not sure about the endgame. Probably it's, yeah, it's very good for white, but I was not entirely sure. So I wanted to keep some more pressure and some more tension on the board. However, as I see it now, I think it's also very good for white. But I wouldn't be 100% sure that it would be winning. So, yeah, I play queen d4, which, however, was not a good move. He could take it now, and then after rook d8 or king f7, because, yeah, and now I cannot really take it, I guess. Takes, then how to play? Can black just take on d5 and activate the rook, or should he play rook d8? But after rook d8 there is rook f4. I actually don't know. Probably it's just safer for black to start with this, not allowing this knight d5, and then just walk with the king, and with some active king, it's not so easy for white, even though I have this blockade. Black has the more active king, and I already need to watch out that he cannot push, because then, yeah, he's getting some dynamics, and then his bishop is not bad anymore. So that would be it for him, but instead he dropped the queen back. Now I could again have taken the pawn, but I dislike this because of this move. Okay, I need to protect the knight, and queen to e5. And I found that this threat and this threat are a bit annoying. I saw that I can go here, but I thought, okay, now I'm losing back the pawn. It's of course good for white, because still I have a good knight versus a bad bishop, but I thought there is no need to give the h2 pawn. That's why I started with h3, renewing the threat, and now I wouldn't lose back the pawn in the same variation and just be a pawn up. He played rook e8, I played king f2, but now knight d5 was again a good move. I was a bit concerned about some stuff like queen d6, because now I cannot really play something like this due to rook e1, some tactics, and I can also not move the king because then d1 drops. So I need to be careful here, but I could just improve with king f2, and there is basically nothing. Rook d8 he cannot play due to knight f6, and I win something here. So I could have taken the pawn, however I chose to play king f2 first, but now with a6 he would have been more or less, yeah, solid and just much worse, but not yet losing. However, he played a losing mistake, rook d8, I just took, and I thought it would be best to play for dynamics with something like this, and then maybe getting ready for some desperate sacrifices, but I was planning to go here, trying to trade the rooks, and also pinning this bishop so that bishop f3 would not be an option yet. So yeah, white is of course winning here too. He decided to play something more static, but now I'm in control. I'm just a pawn up. I can start to push those pawns, can also just try to win another pawn here, can also try to trade the queens, and the game finished quite quickly. I just improved, traded something, and finally improved, maneuvered around a little bit, tried to trade the queens. Of course, I don't want to improve his structure here with takes. Might still be good, but there is no need. I rather want to keep the d4 outpost for my knight, so I never want to see a pawn on c5. So I went back, queen d2. He got a bit impatient, and now I got another passed pawn. All the endgames are basically winning now. I played f4 to open his king. Take, take, f5. Queen f c7, queen e3, and now I went in with the queen. There was a lot of options now. I could even play queen g6, which is quite funny because of this check, takes, bishop takes, a6, and I will just queen, and I will take this pawn, and it's winning. However, I decided to play queen e3 because I thought it's f6 check and then queen e3, which is even more forcing in my opinion. He has no checks. He can never trade the queens because it's hopeless against those pawns. Queen h6 is a huge threat, and there is basically nothing he can really do. Maybe queen h7, but it seems very passive. He has no checks, and probably I will just go, yeah, centralize or yeah, something else. Also, queen e7 is probably just winning on the spot here, forcing the queens off, and then the a pawn decides the game. Yeah, he played king h7 here, but resigned after queen e7, after which I would have two passed pawns, and it's just too much. So yeah, quite a technical game with knight against bishop. I missed some tactical chances, but I kept control anyway. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.